ECR is all of this for Chennai. ECR is dotted with some amazing landscape all over. The entire drive kisses along the Bay of Bengal and you enjoy the drive because it's so scenic. Nowhere has the lush greenery been destroyed. It's retained. And therefore, you just cannot develop anywhere and everywhere on ECR. There are specific zones in which you can develop. So that's the way the ecology is maintained. Otherwise, it will be destroyed. So it's not a concrete jungle. There are certain areas where you can develop. There are certain areas where you cannot develop. So that's why you appreciate the greenery. In fact, certain places will look like forest, and that's how the balance is maintained. The government plays it very responsibly. And then we have the CRZ, the coastal regulation. It's only beyond the distance can you develop. You cannot develop anywhere and everywhere because you have a property. So all of this makes ECR even more important, even more prestigious. And this is a place where there has been some crazy development happening from a resort perspective. If you look to the left and right side of the road, when you were driving, let's say from Tiruvannur all the way here, and if you didn't stop here and still went beyond up to Mahabalipuram, you'll find a lot of resorts on either sides of the road. That talks about the way in which this place is being lapped up by people, particularly on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. Most importantly, people think that this is just a resort kind of a space, so it's a weekend home. It's a weekend home, great. Now, it just doesn't stop there. It goes a step further. Now, the connectivity from here to OMR is terrific. There's just not one connectivity. There are multiple connectivities to OMR. And OMR, like most of you would understand, is the IT hub of Tamil Nadu, because Chennai is for Tamil Nadu and this is for Chennai. So obviously this is for Tamil Nadu. And if you have a connectivity, that is great. And if you have multiple connectivities, imagine. So there are a lot of people who love to work on OMR. They drive here and they live here because this kind of peace, serenity is hardly seen, heard of. And when it's a reality in ECR, I'm talking about ECR, friends. I'm yet to come to Ocean Drive. I'm talking about ECR, and that's the attraction. Whether it's hospitals or colleges or hotels, resorts, malls, all kinds of entertainments are there. And the restriction is in your high-rise development. So when the restriction is there, that's when people want to be a part of it. If it's like open like floodgates, people don't want to be a part of it because value is not there. Value is there only when there is a commodity which is scarce. If it's too much, then there is no value. And the scarce commodity here is land. And then we get into that as ECR. One more aspect that I've understood is a lot of properties in India keep appreciating. I would say all the properties, but just to be on the safe side, I'm saying lots of property. Now that being on one side, there are properties in certain locations that will take on a disproportionate appreciation. And that disproportionate appreciation has always happened in ECR, and it will keep happening further. So if somebody spoke about distance, I would always tell them that's why you're getting land. If distance is not there, you will be getting some space somewhere in the air, and that you will call as your apartment, and then you will call as undivided share of land. What does it mean? There was land at a point of time which people said some excuse to not pick it up, and therefore that led to a development. There was more activity, further development, further activity. When it became so scarce, it became high-rise building, and at that time you go and buy it having lost the entire lead. So never talk of distance if you have understood one thing, and that one thing is the commitment that the developer will stick to his commitment. There's got to be no change to that. If that's the case, then you're going in the right track. And ECR, my friend, is like grossly on that perspective. This is an address for everybody to have on their visiting card to say, this is where we live, or this is where we own a property. There's a friend of mine who told me, it really doesn't matter what property you bought for what value. What really matters is the pride of ownership. Do you pride owning a property? Then your decision was fantastic in picking it up. It's not at what cost you bought it. Do you have the pride? Does it swell in you? Then you've made the best decision. And ECR does that to anybody and everybody. The growth is so much, and the government is pushing so much of growth on ECR that anybody and everybody wants to own a piece of ECR.